Hey bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do a spoiler-free review of Winter's Heart by Robert Jordan, the 9th book in the Wheel of Time series. I'm going to be pretty vague in my review. I'm mostly just going to be talking about what I felt about the things that happened in this book without going into details. So this review is meant for people who have read up through book 8 and are considering reading book 9 but might be on the fence, or they just want to get an idea of what to expect. If you've already read Winter's Heart, you might be more interested in my book diary of it, which will be full of spoilers. It's basically a mix between a recap and a reaction video where I go through chapter by chapter what happens in the book and my thoughts on them as I go along. If my book diary doesn't go up on the same day as this review, then it should be up within a day or two afterwards. So I'll start with giving you my rating. I gave Winter's Heart 5 out of 5 stars. Again, with the caveat that this is my favorite series and this was also technically a reread for me, although at this point in my reread I don't remember very much of the details of the things that are happening. So far in this reread, I have given every book 5 out of 5 stars except for the book preceding this one, The Path of Daggers, which I gave 4 stars, primarily due to slow pacing. I'd say the pacing in this book was definitely better than in The Path of Daggers. I don't think it was quite as good as some of the previous books, like the first 4 or 5, but it was definitely better than The Path of Daggers. When I was going into this book, I was actually expecting to find it to be really slow because one of my memories from my previous read of the series was that I thought this book was the longest book in the series because I felt like it was such a slog, but it turns out that it's one of the shorter books in the series. So once I realized that, I thought for sure that this book was going to have really bad pacing and that I was going to struggle with it. While the pacing in the first half of the book was slow, things definitely pick up in the second half. I mentioned in my Path of Daggers review that one of the reasons why I think the pacing feels so slow sometimes is because so many of our main characters are split up, and trying to split page time between them and splitting their storylines apart the way they are, I think adds to feeling slow because you only see little snippets of those main characters before you move on to the next. That held true in this book for the first half, but in the second half, we really focus in on 2 main characters, and I think that helps pick up the pace in the second half of the book. I also got to see more from 2 of my favorite characters in this book than I did in The Path of Daggers, so that of course helped me to enjoy it more as well. Even in the parts of this book that felt kind of slow, I thought really important plot points were happening, and that helped to keep my interest. Towards the beginning of the book, there's something that happens that's like one of my favorite culture moments in the whole series, and this book ends with one of the most important plot points of the whole series. It's something that we've been building up to for multiple books, so I was so glad to see it finally come to fruition. And on top of all that, I feel like this book had a lot of Easter eggs for rereaders, things that I didn't pick up on previous reads that I definitely noticed this time. We have a lot of minor characters that have been previously introduced to us, some from like the second book and third books. Some of these characters we haven't seen for a long time and they show up again and have more prominent roles in this book, and that was so fun as a rereader to pick up on. There were also some reveals, especially towards the end of this book, that were super exciting. Some of them have been hinted at for a while, and some of these things are so vague that I definitely didn't pick up on them the first time I read the series. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love about the series. It is so fun to reread. There are just so many layers and details to the story and to the world that it's impossible to pick up on everything the first time around. And even the second time around, it's one of those series where you just pick up on more things every time you read it, and I absolutely love that. So that aspect of it, I think, really helped me to feel good about giving this book a 5-star rating, even though the pacing in the first half of the book was on the slower side. We are definitely in the part of the series that is known to be a bit of a drag, so I was really happy to find that I enjoyed Winter's Heart a lot more than I was expecting to. Alright, those are all of my spoiler-free thoughts on this book. If you've read this book and you want to know more of my spoiler thoughts or need a refresher on the things that happened, then definitely check out my book diary. If you read this book, let me know what you thought of it down in the comment section, but keep it spoiler free, and if you want to talk spoilers, then head over to my book diary. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like bookish content, especially if you're a Wheel of Time fan. That is all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye. Many of our main characters, and is that at this point in the series, so many of our main characters are split up. We have a lot of, so that, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. I already said all that. Bye.